and might hint at future rate hikes or cuts, creating market volatility. Bitcoin and gold saw significant gains as investors turned into safe havens, so the probabilities from the euro-dollar is to keep this downward movement. Hello, I'm Isa Martinez, an analyst and trader for XChief. In today's update, we will dive into the latest market movements, from Bitcoin's surge toward $100,000 to the euro's struggles against the dollar, along with key economic data shaping the global financial landscape. Stay tuned for insights on how these developments could impact your trading strategy. And don't forget that this calendar is based on GMT -5. We will start with Tuesday, November 26th. At 10 a.m., the US Consumer Confidence Index will be released. This measures how optimistic consumers feel about the economy. A higher number shows strong confidence, which often boosts the dollar and markets. At 7:30 p.m., Australia's CPI, the Consumer Price Index, will be announced. This is a key measure of inflation. High inflation can push the central bank to raise interest rates, impacting the Australian dollar. We will jump to Wednesday, November 27th at 8:30 a.m. The preliminary US GDP for the last quarter will be published. This reflects the country's economic growth. Strong result is positive for the dollar and equities. Also at 8:30 a.m., weekly U.S. unemployment claims will be released. This indicates the state of the labor market. A lower number shows stability and is generally good for the economy. At 10 a.m., the core PCE price index will be published. This is the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation and can directly influence monetary policy expectations. At 2 p.m., the FOMC meeting minutes will be released. These minutes provide insights into the Fed's recent monetary policy decisions and might hint at future rate hikes or cuts, creating market volatility. Thursday, November 28th. Throughout the day, the preliminary CPI for Germany will be released. This measures inflation in Europe's largest economy. High or low results can shape expectations for the European Central Bank's policies. At 3:55 a.m., the RBA Governor Bullock will speak. Her remarks may provide signals about the Reserve Bank of Australia's future interest rate direction, impacting the Australian dollar on the markets. Now let's head into the most important fundamentals of the week. Bitcoin and gold saw significant gains as investors turned into safe havens amid escalating tensions between Ukraine and Russia. Stock markets also rebounded, recovering from the Nvidia-driven pullback. Weekly jobless claims dropped to 213,000, reducing expectations for an interest rate cut in December, with the odds now at 56% down from 72% last week. Major indices ended higher, with the S&P 500 up 0.74%, the Dow 1.27%, and the Nasdaq 0.12%. Gold prices rose throughout the last session, reaching $2,668 per ounce, and Bitcoin also surged, breaking its all-time high at $99,000 following news of SEC Chair Gary Gensler's resignation, set for January 2025. The market anticipates regulatory changes under a potential Trump administration. Analysts noted Bitcoin is nearing the psychological 100,000 resistance and a $2 trillion market cap. Record open interest in Bitcoin futures highlights strong bullish sentiment. Market analysts agree that Bitcoin has entered the parabolic phase of its cycle, marked by aggressive upward momentum. Historical trends like the SPX root radio suggest this phase is correlated with lower appetite for large cap stocks and higher risk taking in Bitcoin. Despite optimism, some caution remains as analysts predict a pullback before a sustained rally above $100,000. Altcoins are expected to follow, with some analysts forecasting the largest altcoin season in 8 years. Bitcoin's rise sparked a rally in the altcoin market. Optimism led gains with a 25% increase, followed by EtherFi and Mockcoin. Meanwhile, the total cryptocurrency market cap reached $3.25 trillion, with Bitcoin's dominance at 59.8%. And now let's change markets and let's go into Forex. The euro fell to a 2-year low. Sterling also tumbled after data on Friday showed major declines in business activity in both markets, while Bitcoin hit a record high just shy of $100,000. Common currency dipped more than 1% at one point to its lowest level since November 2022 and was last down 0.6% on the day at 1.0413 after the data, which showed the block's dominant services industry contracted and manufacturing had sunk deeper into recession. Markets also raised their expectations of European Central Bank rate cuts, with a more than 50% chance of a larger than usual 50 basis points reduction in borrowing costs in December. The ECB's deposit rate is currently 3.25%. Frederick Dugrosset, head of macroeconomic research at Pictet Wealth Management, said the numbers were weak enough to shift risks further to the downside, suggesting that the monetary policy reaction should be clear. The ECB needs to ease faster to neutral as a first step. And now let's finish our weekly analysis with the graphics, and as always we will start with the US dollar index. Last week we have established several bullish targets and we have reached all of them. Expect a pullback for this week. That means that we can be expecting a downward movement that can be directed to this level. If I delete these targets that we have established the previous week and we start establishing new targets, we can see that there is a place here, a level here, located at 107.283 that the US dollar index can attack. That means before we have an upward movement, we can expect this pullback to this point of the price, and then after this we can say that the US dollar index has enough liquidity to try to reach new bullish targets. If the price of the US dollar index keeps falling, I will also consider this other fair value gap located here and with the most sensitive price at 106.854, and lastly I will put this last target at 106.461. So what can you expect for this week? A pullback to any of these zones to try to grab more liquidity to have a new upward movement. That will be more trustful because the US dollar index will have now enough liquidity to continue going up. On the other hand, if you want to establish bullish targets, maybe the 4-hour interval won't be useful for you. So we will change to the daily interval and let's see if we can find something here. And as you can see here, I see a good target because here is a clear value gap. I will extend, then we can say that as a good daily bullish target, we can establish the price of 108.986. So this can be an objective if you are trying or if you are maintaining bullish positions with the DXY. Now we are seeing the SP 500, and as you can see, after the price reach this fair value gap, you can see how the price reacts to this fair value gap, which is in sky blue color. You can see that the price is doing a new upward movement. For this week, we can expect that the price will try to attack the last all-time high, which is located at $6,017. And after this, maybe we can try to see if there is a manipulation of this zone. So for the SP 500, I think this week will be a little bit tricky because if the price doesn't try to go into this price point, maybe the price will give us a lower high, which could be located here, and then the price will try to get more liquidity. And where the price will try to find this liquidity? From this place. And I will leave this target for you, which is located at $5,853. So don't forget, if the price makes a lower high this week, try to be attentive because the price will try to get more liquidity, will try to go to this point the price, the $5,853, and maybe after this we can try to get a new upward movement. That's all we can say about the SP 500. One bullish target, two bearish targets that I'll leave you here, and I think we'll be ready with the SP 500 for the next week. Now let's talk about the euro dollar. As you can see, this is one of the worst graphics we have been studying in the last weeks, and that's because the euro dollar can find a support level. So the probabilities from the euro dollar is to keep this downward movement. Any kind of upward movement should be only to make a lower high. That means, let me erase this for you. Any movement, any upward movement could be to establish a new lower high, which is like this, and then to try to establish new lower lows. That means that we can keep this downward trend. If we are considering targets for this week. Maybe one of the most important targets should be to enter to the premium zone, which is located above the 1.04715, which will be the zones to sell. Above this zone, I think will be the best place to establish new sell movements or shorts. I can put it like this: sell zone for this week. So we will be using this zone to try to identify if the strategy can give us sell movements for this week with the euro dollar. Finally, we're going to see Bitcoin, one of the most important assets of this week, and that's because we are near the $100,000, which is the psychological level, psychological resistance that we are going to face with Bitcoin. So after all the movement we have had, maybe you need to stay alarmed because we will see a pullback soon, and maybe it is happening right now. We are recording this video on Sunday, and maybe throughout this day we can start seeing new downward movement. So I don't know if this movement will be completed today, because we will try to launch this video tomorrow on Monday. If you're considering bearish targets to try to buy Bitcoin, maybe one of the interesting points of the price will be this fair value gap. Let me put it like this for you, and the most sensitive zone of this fair value gap located at $95,312. And as you can see, the first moment the price touches this zone, the price is getting rejected. If this liquidity is not enough for the price, maybe it will try to go again, and maybe it will try to reach the 50% of this fair value gap located at the price I told you before. After this, please don't forget the thing I'm going to tell you right now. We are seeing a rally with Bitcoin, so most of the movements you need to search with Bitcoin must be buy movements. If you are trying to sell Bitcoin, it is highly possible that you will lose those trades. And why is that? Because we are in the Bitcoin's rally, the movement we were expecting long time ago, and it is finally happening. So in conclusion, try to see if your strategy lets you buy Bitcoin, no sell Bitcoin. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this analysis helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Also, if you're looking to trade the assets we have covered today, make sure to sign up with XChief, link in the description. Happy trading, and see you in the next video.